Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing good. So today in this video we'll learn how to embed a record link in the body of an email. Okay, so without wasting further more time, let's get right into the video. Alright, as you can see here, I have already created an interface to fill up the student details. Okay, first name, last name, age. Okay, I already have created a table. CDT and constant are already in place. Let me quickly show you by entering some details. Okay, first name Appian, second name Seekho, age 2. Okay, submit. So I am saving all these details in this rule input, which is of type CDT. Okay, next what I need to do, I need to create a process model for writing the data to this table. Table name is student details. Okay, so let's go back to the application and create a process model. Process model, let's name it as student details. Okay, create. Security is already in place. Save. Process model has been created. Now I need to write the data to my table. So for that I will be using a smart service called write to data store entity. Okay, let me just type in write to data store entity. There you go. I'll just drag and drop. Okay, cool. Now let's set up the data by double clicking on the smart service. Go to data tab. Under the inputs tab of your data store entity, pass the constant of type data store entity. As I have told before, the constant is already in place. You have to call the constant using const domain followed by the name of the constant. Okay, student DSC student details. Save and close. So this is the data store entity where I want to save my form data. Okay, now we will create a new node input with the same CDT as this constant uses. Okay, this constant is of type data store entity which uses k student details CDT. So we'll have to create a new node input that references the same CDT. Okay, so name is already there, but be mindful of giving some meaningful name. Okay, and type should be my CDT k student details. Okay, now I'll just go to my process model properties and head on to this variables tab and will create a new variable for saving up the form data. Okay, we'll name it as student, and this should be of type CDT k student details. Okay, and this has to be parameterized. Okay, now I will map my node input, this node input, to the same variable which I have just created, student. Okay, next I want to store my result. Okay, for that what I have to do, I just have to go to this outputs tab of my data store entity, and then in here under stored values I want to store the data. I will be storing my data in the same variable. Okay, so that I can make use of this data anywhere in my process. Okay, this is done. Let me quickly activity chain the nodes. Enable activity chaining, right click, enable activity chaining. Okay, this is done. Let me just validate it. The process model contains no error, so I'm good to save and publish it. Save and publish. So this is going to be my child process model for writing the data to my table. Okay, I'll go back to designer and create another process model for sending out the emails. Okay, send emails. Okay, I'm going to save up some time by not providing the description. Create. Security is already in place. Save. This has been created now. Okay, so now this is my parent process model and this is my child process model. Okay, I will be calling my child process model inside my parent process model using sub process smart service. Okay, sub process, there you go, drag and drop. I will be running this sub process synchronously because I will have to wait until my data is written to the table. There is a dependency on my child process model. By default, it's selected as synchronously and will browse my process model. It's case student details search. Here it is. Okay. Now I have input variables and output variables. I have to pass my input variables and then the output variables. Okay, but before that, let me just configure my process start form. Go to process model properties, then head on to this tab, process start form. Type in the interface name, that is K student details. Okay, do you want to automatically create process parameters to match your interface inputs? Yes. Process variable has been created. Okay. Go to the properties of your sub process under setup tab. Now this is the variable which is there in my child process. Okay, I will be passing the input variables. And where am I getting the input from this interface? The form data is being stored in this rule input and that rule input is mapped to this process variable student details. Okay, now this input will be passed to this variable which is there in my child process. Okay, now I want some data out of this sub process, right? Click this button over here. Okay, before configuring the output variables, take a look at input variables section, and as you can see here, I'm storing the input data of my form in student details process variable and mapping the same to student sub process variable. Right now I will be passing the same data what I have in sub process variable student to student details process variable. Okay, that means I will be storing the output data in student details process variable by mapping it to student sub process variable. Understand the difference. This is my process variable. Why am I calling this my process variable? Because this process variable is created in my parent process model and this is my sub process variable because this variable is created in my child process model. So this has been configured now. Click OK. Next, once this node is complete, that means the data has been successfully written to the table. Now we'll have to send an email to the initiator stating that record has been created and you just have to click on a particular link to view the details. Okay, so type in the smart service name, send email, drag and drops. So this smart service is going to send an email to the initiator. Okay, go to the properties under the setup tab. You have to do the email configuration. Okay, from process designer. Okay, we can also select custom sender, process designer to, I'll just use my email address. Okay, to email address under double quotes appianseekho@gmail.com. Save and close. Subject is going to be student details. Save and close. Now I have two ways of sending an email, either by entering the text or by using an HTML template. Okay, I'll go with HTML template. Let me quickly show you guys the template I'm going to use. This is the template I'm going to use, which is nothing but the body of my email. Okay, I will just upload it in Appian. Okay, new, go to new, and then just create a document. Okay, upload your template, link .html, open. Next, so you have to give it some meaningful names. Send email template. Fine. Create a constant. No, we don't need a constant for this document. Create document. Now go back to your process model. Okay, in here you have to just browse your template. Okay, click here, just go to the search and type in the name of your document. Send email, search, there you go. Okay, it will take a couple of seconds to scan the template. Okay, it has found this link in my template. I will be replacing this link with my dynamic link. There is a function called a bank record URL for record, so we have a couple of parameters: record type, target location, identifier, and view. We don't have any record, right? So we will have to create one. Go back to your designer and create a record type. We'll name it as student details. Okay, create. Security is already in place. Save. So let's set up the data. Tell us more about your data. Okay, so select a data source type. By default, database has been selected. Next, I'll just disable sync and related features, and will select my data store, which is KDS, I think. Yeah, here it is. Then we'll select my CTT. Okay, finish. The setup has been almost done. Okay, let me just give a quick glance at my list. Edit list. I don't need this primary key. I can just delete it. Okay, I think these three columns are enough. Okay, now save changes. So this is done. I can use my record now. Okay, record type, a type bank, K student details, okay. Next is my target location. So target location, the location where the record should open, which can be either a site page or tempo. So I want my record to be open in a site. Okay, so now we'll have to create a site. Go back to designer, new, and then click on site. We'll name it as student. Display name student. Create. Security is already in place. Save. Yes, this is done, but I will have to add a page. Add page, and here we have a few options to select from. It's going to be action for me. Okay, now I have to select a process model with a sales start form. So make sure whichever process model you select has a sales start form configured. Cool. This process model, this one, which has a sales start form configured. Okay, so we'll call the same in here. Okay, k send emails, send emails. So it says the selected process model must have a sales start form. It does have a sales start form, but I haven't published my changes yet, and that's why it throws me this error here saying that it must have a sales start form. So let's do one thing. Let's first save and publish my process model. Save and close. Okay, and I'll just save and publish just to be able to add my page. Okay, now I'll do the same exercise, action, and we'll select the same process model, k send emails. My bad, k send emails. Okay, now there is no error because I have saved and published my changes. Add, just hit this button over here. Okay, I will have to provide a title, student, and then hit this add button. This has been added. I can just save my changes. Okay, now I'll just go back, go to the properties of your sent email under the setup tab. Okay, go to this expression, and I can use my site as my target location. Okay, target location. You have to use site bank domain to reference your site. Okay, k student, this is my site, and we'll have to provide the page as well. Using the dot notation, you can use the properties. So I want the user to be navigated to this page. Okay, this is done, and the third comes my identifier. Identifier is nothing but the primary ID. So the primary ID of my table is student ID. I can just pass that over here. This is done. Format the code and just hit this save and close. Okay, now let's activity chain the nodes. Enable activity chaining, enable activity chaining, enable activity chaining. All right, now let's just validate it quickly. The process model contains no error. I'm good to save and publish it now. It has been published. Okay, I'll just go back to my site and we'll use this web address which will take me to my site. Now let's fill up this form. appianseekho, age is 1 year old. Okay, submit. I am already logged into my Gmail. Let's check if I have received any email or not. Okay, I have received one. Record has been created. Click here to view the details. In here I have this button which will take me to my site. Okay, let's click this. There you go, Appian. As you can see the name here. This is a summary view of my record. And if I want, I can just add a related action on top right corner to be able to edit the details. Okay, so that's pretty much for the day. If you want more such videos, please like my video, share it as much as you can, and yes, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, cheers, bye bye.